Most of you aren't subscribed. Make sure to rev that subscribe button as it helps out the channel. Without further ado, hidden away in a mountain, our protagonist, Denji, awakens and heads to work. Trudging through a forest and onto a street road, Denji begins listing jobs he's partaken in and their respective pay. Cutting down trees pays 60,000 yen per month. Selling a kidney is 1.2 million. His right eye is 300,000 and a testicle is less than 100,000. Even after all the effort, he still owes 38,040,000 yen. Alerted by his devil pet, Pochita, it's revealed that slaying devils earn around 300,000 yen. Easily dispatching a tomato devil, Denji is congratulated by a mob boss for his efforts, buying the creature's corpse for 400,000. The only issue is the boss deducts several fees from his payment, leaving Denji with only 70,000 yen. After paying off several utility bills, Denji only has 1,800 yen to spend on food for the rest of the month. Walking home, Denji is watched by the mob boss and one of his henchmen. Questioning the boss's reason for hiring a kid, the boss replies that Denji is not only paying off the debt his deceased father left, but he's also giving the Yakuza devil corpses, and he's very easy to command. Testing the theory, the henchman drives up to Denji, offering him a measly 100 yen, in exchange for eating a used cigarette. Immediately scoffing down the cigarette, the henchman laughs while driving off, not before the mob boss warns Denji to continue to work for them, unless he wants to die. Back at his shack, Denji chats to Pochita, letting his stray thoughts out. Normal people put jam on their bread, there's no way he'll be able to pay off his debt, he'll never get a girlfriend, but even if he could, no girl would want to live in his rundown shack with no money. If he had one wish, it would be to have a girlfriend. Flashing back, as a result, Denji is tasked with paying for his father's mistakes, and if he fails he'll be sold off to obtain the money. That day underneath a tree, Denji meets Pochita, a chainsaw devil, for the first time. Noticing the creature heavily wounded, Denji offers the creature his blood, knowing that devils can regenerate from human blood, but in exchange Pochita must help Denji out. Working together, the pair slay a marshmallow devil, hence starting their partnership as devil hunters, working themselves out of debt. Unable to sleep, due to hunger, Denji and Pochita share their dreams, wanting to share a jam-covered slice of toast with one another and spending time with a girl. Just then Denji begins to cough up blood. With his palm drenched with his innards, Denji reveals that there was a rumor about his mother passing from a heart disease, implying that he may have inherited such a disease. Interrupted, the mob boss calls Denji to slay a devil. Driven by the boss, Denji observes the setting sun, passing through a town and stopping at an isolated factory. Not seeing any devils nearby, Denji begins to wonder if it's hiding or possibly having fled. Thanking Denji for always being loyal, the boss has his men puncture Denji and Pochita with a blade, relieving the two of their duties. Revealing to have wanted power, the mob boss is seen having made a pact with a devil, the zombie devil. Offered to become the zombie devil's slaves, the men are mindlessly controlled by the creature. Hating all devil hunters, the zombie devil commands his new slaves to slaughter our devil hunting duo. Spewing blood, Denji carries Pochita, stumbling from aisle to aisle. Noticing an exit door, Denji beelines towards it, knocking down containers to buy him time. Sadly, at his weakened state, Denji allows one of the zombies to land a clean slash on him, bringing his helpless body in a trash bin. Under the full moon, we witness Denji and Pochita's dismantled body. With a single stream of Denji's blood flowing into Pochita's mouth, our little buddy awakens. Reminiscing on past woodworking jobs and the promise Denji and him made together, we cut back to Denji's corpse, being wired back together, with Pochita acting as Denji's temporary control system. Talking to Pochita in a dream, Pochita reveals that he has given Denji his heart, but in exchange Denji must show Pochita the dream he has always wanted for the two of them. Abruptly waking up, Denji calls for Pochita whilst noticing no scars on himself. With no sight of Pochita, Denji realizes that Pochita's activation cord is now part of Denji, positioned near his heart. Having heard Denji's cries, the zombie devil is alerted, demanding his slaves devour Denji, to ensure that the devil hunter is no more. With the swarm rushing towards Denji, he becomes enraged as so many things have been taken away from him already, but this time he won't allow his dreams to go unfulfilled. Pulling the cord from his chest, he declares that anyone that interferes will die. Several seconds pass, and the swarm of zombies begin piling upon Denji. Just then Denji breaks free. Transformed and equipped with chainsaws for his arms and forehead, the zombie devil demands to know what Denji has become, realizing that he's now one of them, a devil. Without a second to waste, Denji leaps from the pile of zombies, and punctures the zombie devil in the eye. In utter pain, the zombie devil uses one of its tentacles to slam Denji against a wall, and away from its body. Landing on the ground, Denji eats a steel pipe, only to realize it has little to no effect on him. Slaughtering the zombies and making his way, pleading to stay away, Denji ultimately ignores such demands, decapitating, slashing and leaping off several zombies, Denji becoming airborne. Noticing an opening, the zombie devil shoots one of its tentacles at Denji. Using the tentacle as a path towards the creature, Denji rides the tentacle, placing his chainsaw-like arm through the creature. With the creature completely helpless, Denji revs his chainsaw, bringing his body weight down and cutting the zombie devil perfectly in half. Drenched in the enemy's blood, Denji notices that the zombies haven't been reverted to humans. This would mean that the mob boss and his henchmen have completely become devils. With no remorse, Denji slays each and every one of them, knowing that he'll be able to fetch a hefty price for all these devil corpses. With the break of dawn, a black vehicle pulls up. Stepping out, a redhead and two men strut into the factory. Realizing the hundreds of bodies in front of them, the three mutter that someone else was able to slay the creatures before them. Raising their heads, they notice Denji standing in the shadows, among the sea of corpses. Walking straight up to Denji, the redhead mentions that he neither smells completely like a human or devil and that Denji was the one that caused this scene. Just then Denji falls back demanding to be hugged, only for the redhead to comply. Several of Denji's chainsaw-like features begin melting from his body, leaving only his human form. Asking if Denji had been possessed, the redhead states that no, he's human and that the three of them are here to slay the zombie devil, as they too are devil hunters with public safety. Suddenly the redhead offers Denji two choices, either to be treated as a devil and killed here and now, or to be curious of what he'll be able to eat. The redhead replies with bread with butter and jam, salad, coffee and possibly dessert. Without a second thought, Denji accepts. With Denji sitting in the black car, the four drive through a forest. With Denji's stomach growling, the redhead asks for Denji's name, replying that she'll now take care of him. The only issue is that she expects Denji to obey her like a dog, with yes and woof, and there is no need for dogs that disobey their master. Denji is further uneasy when the redhead mentions that most dogs that disobey orders are put down. Realizing the redhead isn't as nice as she seemed, he begins to fear her, frustrated at how he's nothing but a dog to her. On top of that, the death of Pachita has only settled in. Passing through a rest area, the redhead mentions breakfast as an option, but Denji replies that he has no cash. She interrupts by offering to pay for him. Additionally, she gives her jacket to him, to cover his nude body up. With these small gifts of kindness, Denji reconsiders his situation, surmising that he may have hit the jackpot, receiving such gifts from such a good-looking girl. As it's Denji's first time ordering udon, Denji adds a sausage, unsure of their synergy. With the redhead adding her order, the two wait, as Denji falls into the redhead's chest. Apologizing for catching a whiff of her, Denji mentions how the chainsaws he produced led to him losing quite a lot of blood. Asked about the reason for his transformation, Denji reveals that he had a pet devil that offered to replace Denji's heart in exchange for its life. The entire time Denji refuses to reveal Pachita's name to the redhead. Cheering Denji up, the redhead reveals that she has a very powerful sense of smell, adding that his pet devil is still alive inside him, as she cannot determine if Denji is human or devil, meaning he may have parts human. And asking if he can dig in, the redhead asks if he can eat by himself, only for Denji to reply that he can't. With each bite, Denji replies with a bark, only to ask for the redhead's name. Revealed to be Makima, Denji questions Makima on her taste in men, only for her to flirtatiously reply with men who resemble Denji. Now in a nearby city, Denji is still caught up on the fact that Makima's ideal type is himself. Heading into the Tokyo headquarters for devil hunters, Makima fills Denji in on the thousands of other devil hunters, mentioning how there is tons of paid vacation time. The entire time, Denji is still thinking about a possible future together with Makima. Gifted a uniform, Makima introduces Denji to his senior, by 3 years, Aki Hayakawa. Tasked with following Aki around, for the day, Denji questions why he won't be with Makima, only for Aki to drag him away, stating how Denji is completely out of Makima's league. Noticing Denji's saddened face, Makima reassures him that, if he does a good job, they'll be able to spend more time together, sending the two off. Attempting to question Aki on Makima's dating life, Denji is ignored, only to be pulled into a nearby alleyway. Struck to the ground, Denji attempts to get up, only for Aki to continue pummeling Denji into some trash bags. Stopping for a smoke break, Aki threatens Denji to quit, as people he's worked with in the past, that don't know the horrors of devil hunting, will surely be killed. Figuring that Denji was only after Makima, Aki says he'll allow Denji to disappear, letting the higher-ups know that Denji got cold feet and ran away. Replying to such an offer, Denji surprises Aki from behind, following up with several taps to the groin. Denji reveals that he's tasted udon for the first time. It's like a dream come true, and attempting to knock Denji back to reality, Aki is met with another stern kick to the groin, putting him out for good. Returning to Makima, Denji attempts to make up a lie for Aki's disheveled appearance, only to be called out by Aki. Noticing their growing relationship, Makima assigns Denji to Aki's unit, revealing that the unit overall is filled with unique specimens, being more experimental. Questioning Denji's abilities, Aki learns that Denji's abilities to transform to and from a devil. In disbelief, Aki is also informed of Denji's special restraint, the restraint being if Denji attempts to leave the unit or disobey orders, he'll be considered a devil and put down. This means that Denji will be working for Makima until he dies. Offering Denji to live with Aki, Aki mentions he'll be able to keep an eye on him, reiterating how Denji can be put down if he chooses to disappear. Questioning Makima's personality, Denji asks Aki if Makima is a good person. Revealing how she saved Aki's life, Denji reconsiders his feelings, hoping to be embraced by her once again. Digging into toast, covered in strawberry jam, plum jam, orange jam, butter, honey and cinnamon, Aki is only able to observe the mess unfolding. With time passing, Aki scolds Denji for spending too much time in the bath and using all the toilet paper. On their first mission together, the police inform Aki of a fiend that has sealed themselves up in a nearby house. Heading in, Denji wonders what a fiend is, only for Aki to mention that a human corpse that has been corrupted by a devil is considered a fiend. Questioning whether Denji himself is a fiend, Aki reassures him that fiends have distinctive heads, as the two head upstairs. Barging into the room, the two witness a human-like creature, revealed to be entirely controlled by, with the fiend charging at Denji, he cleaves off the creature's head, ending the confrontation in seconds. Questioning Denji for not using his powers, Denji reveals that he sympathizes with the fiend, as that could have easily been him. Interrupting, Aki berates Denji's intentions as a fiend like a devil has no remorse for humans. Having slaughtered Aki's entire family, in front of him, Aki adds that there are human lives at risk, and that human lives are far more precious than the lives of the creature. Questioning whether Denji is taking his job seriously, Denji replies that he has never been friends with another human before. Speechless, Aki keeps that thought in mind, storming off. Now left alone, Denji reveals his true motive, not wanting to stain the dirty magazines, filling the room. Having given the creature a painless death, Denji surmises that it would only be fair if he kept the magazines in exchange. Before heading out, Denji talks to Pachita, wherever he is, mentioning how his dreams are coming true. Being able to bathe, eat food and be around hot girls, Denji questions whether something is missing. Knowing Aki is fueled by revenge, the police are fueled with protecting their families. Denji wonders what Makima is fueled by, ultimately overcome with the urge to touch her breast. Just like that, Denji has set his new goal of fondling Makima's breast. Returning to Makima, Denji is informed of his new partner, a fiend. With a dramatic entrance, the fiend introduces herself as Power. Questioning having a fiend as Devil Hunter, Denji backs off upon observing Power's features. revealing that although fiends are mindless animals, Power in particular is highly intelligent and rational. Adding that Power is also pairing up on a mission, Denji notes that Power's horns may scare some civilians, hence an area without too many pedestrians is ideal. Running around, Power gets agitated, wanting to kill something, urging for the taste of blood. Due to Power's hot body, Denji is able to put up with her antics, as his end goal is to get a feel of her breast. Running into several police officers, Denji reveals their devil hunting license, which clears the two of suspicion. With Power reasoning that devils are afraid of her, Denji speculates that the two have been placed together, by Aki, knowing that they'll not be able to achieve their assigned missions. Just then Power smells blood, rushing off, with Denji questioning her intentions. Leaping off the rooftop, Power conjures a blood-like hammer, bringing it down on the sea cucumber devil. Bursting the creature, and spilling its internals everywhere, Power claims her victory over the creature, as Denji stares in awe. Having made a mess, Power and Denji are confronted by Makima. Noting that the devil was under control by other civilian hunters, Makima mentions that stealing it is a possible crime. Telling Power to think about her actions, before executing them, Makima asks for Denji to keep her under control, moving forward. As Power was originally the Blood Devil, before becoming a fiend, Power is able to manipulate and use blood in battles. Unfortunately, she gets worked up pretty easily, leading Makima to reconsider her use for the team. Fearing what Makima may do to her, Power decides to blame Denji for her losing control. Immediately calling Power out for her lie, Power presses more, making up how devils are incapable of lying and only humans can lie. Insulting each other's behaviors, Makima butts in, asking the two to quiet down. With the two immediately complying, Makima asks whether the two can work together, with Power responding yes. With the two stopping near some vending machines, Denji grabs a drink, whilst Power is amazed at the vending machine's lights. Cracking open a cold one, Denji reveals that being able to purchase such a drink was never an option in his old life, and that if they both continue to mess up and lie, both of them will cease to exist. Completely ignoring Denji's words, Power picks up a cat, revealing that she only trusts feline creatures. Revealing that she has an innate hate towards humans, Power adds that she has developed a hate for other devils, as a devil once stole her pet cat. Realizing Denji is not listening, Power scolds Denji for being an inconsiderate human. Denji replies that he's not entirely fond of cats, but dogs are a different story. Hearing this, Power sets out a bait, offering a feel of her breast, in exchange for her pet cat's life. Immediately jumping on this offer, Denji uses the cat's life as an excuse to accept such an offer, vowing to beat the life out of the devil. Realizing the Power needs special permission to leave headquarters, Power reveals she knows where the devil kidnapped her precious pet too, adding that Denji will have to do most of the fighting, as the creature may use her pet as a shield to deter her movements. Distracted by the idea of fondling Power's breast, Denji attempts to grow closer to Power, mentioning he once had a pet called Pachita. Insulting Denji for trying to comfort her, Denji holds back his anger, knowing that the two will probably never get along. Cutting to Makima, we see her in the presence of several higher-ups. Stating that several countries are interested in the use of devils for military power, the higher-ups question Makima on the training of dogs. Replying that one of them has high potential and the other is interesting, Makima is told to not grow too close or develop feelings for any of them. Heading home, Aki chauffeurs Makima, questioning Makima's interest in Denji. Uttering that all devils are born with names and the more feared they're the more powerful they become. An example is coffee, that isn't scary whatsoever, hence a coffee devil would be weak, but a car devil would be quite the hassle, as the fear from being run over is quite frequent. Ending the scene, Makima brings up how Denji can become the chainsaw devil, and that's what intrigues her. Additionally, she defends Denji for simply wanting to live a normal life, only for Aki to disagree, stating he's an idiotic kid. Getting off a bus, the two are left alone in a rural area. Pointing to a nearby house, Power says the devil roams that house. Remembering that the devil may use her cat as a hostage, Power realizes that she has messed up, creating a bloodhammer and knocking Denji out. Dragging his unconscious body into the house, she is greeted by a creature. Complaining about the long wait, the creature mocks Power, assuming she ran away, only for Power to mention how she needed to build trust before she could gain freedom. Revealed to be the Bat Devil, the creature is excited to devour his first meal in ages. Showing off his severed arm, afflicted by other devil hunters, Denji ignores the Bat Devil's words, agitating the creature. Crushing Denji in its palm and extracting his blood, the bat realizes how disgusting Denji's blood is. Tossing Denji to the ground, the creature flaunts its newly regenerated arm, setting its sights on other humans. The entire time, Power stands there allowing the situation to unfold, whilst also insulting Denji for being so gullible. With the creature's heightened smell, it declares that children will make an amazing palate cleanser. Interrupting the creature's thought, Power demands that her feline friend be returned. Revealing the caged cat, the Bat Devil crosses her, devouring the creature right in front of Power. Flashing back, Power reveals that she discovered the stray cat one day. Surprised at how the creature was not afraid of Power, she decided to feed and nurture the creature, hoping one day to devour the cat once it's grown. One unfortunate night, Power had the cat stolen from her. Revealed to be the Bat Devil, the creature demands that Power bring it a human life, in exchange for the cat. Back in the present, Power begins to realize how Denji must have felt, when he was no longer able to spend time with Pochita. Consuming Power, the creature reveals its wings, heading towards a nearby town. Whilst seeing Denji drink its blood, the Bat Devil manages to get Denji off its leg and into its hands, beginning to crush him. With Denji's life flashing before him, he remembers back to a time when he had lost Pochita. Having searched everywhere for him, the two were able to find each other, both relieved later that night. Knowing that feeling, Denji empathizes with Power, knowing she has had many nights sleeping alone, without her pet. Just like that, Denji rips his cord. Unleashing his chainsaws, Denji cuts himself free from the creature's palm, following up by severing the creature's arm entirely. Shocked at Denji's devil-like state, the two fall through a building. With Denji shooing away a civilian, the Bat Devil questions a fellow devil letting a human easily go. Ignoring the Bat Devil's words, Denji states that he's going to split open the creature and then fondle some breasts. Lunging towards the creature, Denji lands a clean blow onto the Bat Devil, bringing the fight onto the streets. As the creature swipes at Denji, he dashes back, only to return a slash to the creature's chest. Now fired up, the creature brings its remaining fist down on Denji. Although it completely misses, the creature's sheer force topples a nearby building. Making use of the smoke and debris, the creature closes in on Denji. Realizing they're both near civilians, Denji buys time as they escape. Noticing Denji caring for the surrounding civilians, the Bat Devil picks up an occupied car, tossing it towards Denji. Retracting his chainsaws, as to not harm the human in the car, Denji is able to catch the incoming car, simply with brute strength. Questioning Denji, once again for saving a human, Denji corrects the creature, stating that he doesn't really care about the old guy in the car, tossing the car right back at the Bat Devil. With the car exploding and attempting to heal its wounds with a nearby civilian, it's in complete shock noticing Denji appear from the rubble, completely unfazed. Screaming that he had to put up with so much, but hasn't been able to cop a feel yet, he decides to end this, charging at the creature. Meeting the Bat Devil's fist, he makes use of the creature's arm, riding its arm and landing a blow on the creature, knocking back into a wall. Lunging into the air, Denji brings his blades through the creature, spilling its guts everywhere. Flashing into Power's past, she had always devoured other wildlife, but her cat was the only creature she ever cared for. Therefore, when the Bat Devil took her cat hostage, a new warm and pleasant feeling about blood had been realized. Back in real time, Power is seen in the stomach of the Bat Devil, cradling the caged cat. Blinking twice, the background changes, noticing Denji above her. Finally saved, in the arms of Denji, she questions his reason for saving her, even after her attempt at sacrificing him. Without uttering a single word, Denji points at Power's chest, following up with a squeezing motion. Berating Denji on such a foolish answer, she reasons that it would only be fair to allow it, as her feline friend is now safe. Realizing what Power had given permission to, Denji raises his fist, in celebration for such an accomplishment. Just then his arm is severed. With an outstretched tentacle, reaching over to grab his loose arm, we follow the tentacle back to a disturbing creature, the leech devil. Revealed to be its arms, the leech devil tosses his arm into its mouth, swallowing it in an instant. Asking if Denji is alright, Power suggests for him to grab her pet and flee the scene. Without a second thought, Denji rips his cord. With a small chainsaw protruding his forehead, Power is in shock having seen Denji transform for the first time. Due to Denji's spewing so much blood in the previous fight, he's unable to conjure his chainsaws. Suddenly, the leech devil begins to speak, uttering that it had finally found the person that slayed the bat devil. It reveals that the bat devil was its lover, but it is willing to let Denji off the hook, as he's pretty cute. Asking about the lives of Power and her cat, dodging to the right, Denji wraps around the creature, only for it to respond by turning around and strike down on Denji. Making use of the momentum, Denji becomes airborne, which the creature notices, sending Denji into a nearby building. Landing on his 2 feet, we see Denji still half transformed, with a miniature chainsaw protruding out of his forehead. Forced to dodge the falling surroundings, the leech devil attempts to catch Denji off guard with its arms. The entire time, Power is amazed at Denji's willpower, all just to fondle her chest. Having blocked the creature's tail, Denji sees an opening, closing the distance and placing a punch on the creature. Brushing off Denji's attempts, the leech knocks Denji back with its arms, refusing to believe that Denji was able to kill the bat devil. Mentioning that the leech devil and the bat devil had aspirations of devouring all of humanity, the creature confesses that such a dream would have never happened, but it was still romantic to consider such a thing. Confessing that it would be a shame to kill Denji, Denji refuses to die without copping a feel, only for the creature to feel sad for killing a human with such a trashy dream. Taking a deep breath, Denji remembers Aki's words, about how everyone but Denji is serious. Having dodged and parried the creature's strikes, Denji runs along the creature's arm, making its way towards its head. Using whatever chainsaw at his disposal, Denji manages to place a slash at the creature's throat. Frustrated at always being made fun of, Denji begins to berate other people and their normal dreams. Adoring Denji for squealing so much, the leech devil faces Denji head-on. Violently waving its tentacle-like arms around, the creature forces Denji to evade its every strike. Making use of the deceased bat devil's internals, with the creature stationary, Denji continues to cut and avoid its strike, whilst Power observes Denji's demonic-like movement. With the creature losing Denji's whereabouts, Denji uncovers himself, having hid in the bat devil's internals. Lunging towards the creature, and grabbing its hair, Denji rams his forehead chainsaw into the creature. With huge amounts of blood spewing from the collision, it's revealed that the creature's tongue had penetrated Denji's chest. With Power unable to help, the creature announces, it's finally time to devour Denji. Just then, stepping back from the fight, we see Aki stationed away from the fight, framing the two between his fingers. Using a finger puppet, he mutters, "Khan," only for a fox-like creature to appear and decapitate the leech devil. Talking to Aki, the fox identifies and asks if he can swallow the leech devil, with Aki responding, yes. With the fox's job done, it creates a cloud of smoke, disappearing. Out of the smoke, we observe other members from Aki's unit. Confirming that the leech devil has been exterminated, Aki orders for the older gentleman and the young girl to carry out search and rescue, evacuating any civilians. With the two complying, Aki as the older lady, Himeno, to watch out for other possible demons. Turning to the dazed Denji, Aki helps Denji up, stating that the two need to be debriefed. The scene ends with Aki reassuring Power that her feline friend will be thoroughly checked and cared for by a veterinarian. Awaking in a hospital bed, Aki reveals that the gang was able to find Denji's arm, reattaching it with a simple blood infusion. Asking about Aki's relationship with the fox, Aki reveals that he had formed a contract with the fox devil, offering some of his blood for Power. Sadly, this time Aki had to offer some of his flesh. Stating that devils and fiends want to devour humans, Aki adds that surveillance footage reveals Denji and Power were heading towards their patrol area, but suddenly began heading elsewhere. Speculating that their new location was housing the bat devil, Aki also discovered huge amounts of Denji's blood at the new location. With a serious tone, Aki asks whether Power attempted to kill Denji, only for Denji to fake ignorance to Power's intentions. Knowing Denji is attempting to cover for power, Aki reflects on the survivors' testimonies, as some praise Denji for saving them. Others are mad at the destruction caused from his recklessness. Knowing that Denji and power will be disposed of, if the higher-ups hear word about this, Aki makes Denji an offer. In return for covering the whole ordeal up, Denji must obey Aki's orders. Stating that Denji is a dumb brat, he'll be able to learn about the inner workings of the world whilst also maintaining his livelihood, if he listens to Aki. Agreeing to such a condition, Denji mentions that although he may not have aspirations as convoluted as others, he still is as serious about living. Noting that Denji should start off by learning manners, Aki leaves Denji's room. With Himeno and Power listening to the whole conversation, Power demands that she be freed from her handcuffs, now that Denji has not framed her for the conflict earlier. With Himeno questioning whether they should let Power off the hook, as the future outcomes will be blamed onto Aki, Aki states that Power will be off use in the future. The scene ends with Aki stating that devils and fiends are not his friends. Heading back to the agency, Aki greets Makima. Makima brings up that Denji and Power were able to leave surveillance so easily, but Aki adds that there were no fatalities and as a result 2 devils were exterminated, asking for the whole matter to be excused entirely. With a cold glare, Makima agrees to excuse the whole incident, asking whether Aki has changed due to Denji. Denying such a statement, Aki leaves. The next morning Aki wakes up. Washing his face, brushing his teeth and manually making coffee, Aki enters his balcony sipping the coffee whilst reading the newspaper. As Denji wakes up, he questions how Aki is up so early, whilst Aki enjoys a smoke. That afternoon, whilst Aki is making curry, the two hear a rumbling at the front door. Revealed to be Power, Aki learns that Makima has entrusted him with housing Power as well, as it would be strange to have Power constantly live at the facility. Forced to comply, Power immediately throws the two off by refusing to eat vegetables, flush her feces and take a bath. Forced to clean up Power's mess, Denji is pissed seeing Power just watch. Just then Power reminds Denji of their agreement. Sitting down, she allows Denji to fondle her breast but only 3 times. At first she wasn't going to allow it, but, because he saved her cat, slayed the bad devil and lied to Aki for her, she will allow Denji to squeeze 3 times. With his dream in front of him, Denji reaches out with both palms. Firmly grasping on Power's 2 melons, she nonchalantly declares that the sensation is so good. Noticing something off, Denji moves one of his palms around, leading to something falling out of her shirt. Picking up the fallen object, Power reveals that she had used breast pads to accentuate her features. Demanding to continue the 2 remaining squeezes, Denji tests the waters with a quick squeeze, leaving only 1 squeeze. Finally indulging in the raw feeling, Power states that the reward is over, asking how Denji feels. Adding that she has no reason to fight devils, because her cat is saved, he reassures Denji she'll still assist with missions, due to Makima threatening both their lives. Just like that, Power leaves for bed with her cat. Left in utter shock, Denji is unable to sleep, whilst also unable to indulge in breakfast, leading Power to steal his food. Even when heading out on patrol, he can't help but ignore Power's words. That evening, Denji is with Makima, mindlessly filling out paperwork, confirming the disposal of the devil bodies, under her guidance. Apologizing for making Denji do the paperwork, she assumes, at first, that making him fill out paperwork on the bad devil is quite traumatic, having to think about the creature all over again, but she double-checks, asking if something is bothering Denji. Letting everything out, Denji mutters that he had been chasing a dream, but when he was finally able to obtain it, it was very underwhelming, to a point where the chase and the build-up far exceed. Momentarily stopping Denji's arm, Makima begins to fondle Denji's palm, whilst stating that the better you understand someone, the better the experiences with the person will be, but it's difficult at times to get to know someone. She mentions that Denji should start by observing the other's finger lengths. Pulling Denji's palm closer, she asks whether the other hand is cold or hot. Running Denji's finger through her ears, Makima asks Denji to learn the shape of the other's ears. Following up, she asks if he has ever had his finger bitten, proceeding to nibble on Denji's finger, whilst asking him to close his eyes and memorize the feeling. To top it all off, Makima forces Denji to grasp onto her melons. Caught off guard, Denji falls out of his chair, staring directly at the palm that made contact with her melons. Crouching down, Makima leans into Denji, allowing their lips to almost kiss. She asks if Denji can help her with something, in which Denji says, yes. Asking Denji to slay the gun devil, Makima informs Denji that the gun devil appeared 13 years ago, but has since gone missing. Believing that Denji can slay such a devil, because he is unique and unlike other hunters, Makima adds that she'll grant anyone wish upon Denji slaying the devil. With his mind thinking of dirty things, involving Makima, Makima cuts him off, adding that the devil is powerful, so the reward will be hard-earned. The devil most likely got its power, as there was a surge in guns due to the appearance of devils, along with political conflicts, leading to the use of guns and violence. Cutting to a family of 4, we see the 2 parents taking care of the unwell younger one, only for the older brother to barge into the room. Asking Tayo, his younger brother, to play, the older brother is reprimanded by his parents, stating that Tayo can't. With the 2 starting a snowball fight, the older one worries that Tayo will get sick, telling him to grab gloves and come back out to play catch. Waiting as Tayo heads in, the older brother observes as his entire house, along with his family, is deleted. It was reported that 1.2 million people were killed within 5 minutes, upon the gun devil appearing. Underestimating the gun devil, Denji reassures Makima that he'll be able to slay the creature. Hearing this, Makima reveals how they will track the creature down. Opening a briefcase, Makima shows Denji several bullets, revealed to be the gun devil's flesh. Since the gun devil is so powerful, creatures that consume the flesh of the gun devil will gain immense power. Additionally, as the gun devil's flesh naturally sticks together, Makima plans on gathering enough flesh, to a point where the gathered clump will lead them to the actual devil itself. The scene ends elsewhere, where Aki and Himeno have just acquired another piece of the gun devil's flesh, only to be revealed that Tayo is Aki's younger brother, and that the gun devil killed his family. With a possible devil terrorizing a hotel, Aki and his unit have been sent to investigate, speculating that the devil may have been enhanced, possibly consuming some or the gun devil's flesh. Aki is able to confirm this by using a piece of the devil's flesh, and approaching the hotel, observing the flesh being attracted to the hotel. As Denji and Power begin to act up, Aki is able to get the 2 to behave, with pieces of gum. Noticing the 2, Hirokazu Arai asks whether the gang can trust a fiend and a brat, but Aki reassures Hirokazu that the 2 will be disposed of, if they step out of line. With Power and Denji demanding that they get a reward for following orders, hearing this Hirokazu disagrees with such a naughty proposal, only for Denji to mention that no such reward is needed as he has his sights on someone else. Additionally, he's learned that getting to know someone is ideal, when it comes to doing physical things, and he has no idea who Himeno is. Cutting off Denji's rant, Himeno adds to the reward, mentioning that she'll add some tongue action. Completely fired up, Denji races through the hotel in search of the devil, wanting to claim the French kiss so badly. Hirokazu has no other option but to chase after him, as it would be too dangerous. Having caught up to Denji, Hirokazu is able to pin Denji against a wall and stop his movements. Having been trained by Himeno, Hirokazu refuses to allow his master to share such a devious act with a punk like Denji. With Denji struggling to get free, Power joins in, egging the 2 to fight, whilst Kobani Higashiyama attempts to break up the fight. With Himeno and Aki observing the situation unfolding, Aki asks for Himeno's take on the 4. Revealing Hirokazu to be incompetent but highly motivated and Kobani as highly competent but timid, Himeno asks Aki if the 4 will manage to live. Aki responds stating that all devil hunters either quit or die within a year. Knowing Aki dodged the question, Himeno demands Aki to not die. Flashing back, we see Himeno standing in front of hundreds of graves. Introduced to Aki, for the first time, and tasked with training him, she reveals that Aki will be her 6th partner, as the past 5 have all died due to them being weak. Even upon their first meeting, Himeno has told Aki to not die. Back in the present, the gang walk through hallways with no sight of any devil. Questioning Aki's methods, Himeno warns that there is an incoming presence. With a fiend exiting one of the rooms, it lunges at the shocked Kobani. Himeno interrupting Power, Himeno reveals that she has contracted with the ghost devil, having given her right eye, for the ability to make use of an invisible hand. With Aki noting that the fiend hasn't consumed any gun devil flesh, the gang head further up the hotel. Whilst heading up, Power questions whether Himeno should have revealed her ability, only for Himeno to reassure her that she has more tricks up her sleeve. Calling Himeno's bluff, Power threatens to take Kobani's life, only for Himeno to choke Power with her invisible hand. With Power helplessly wailing at the ghost hand, Himeno states that she would prefer if everyone got along. Embarrassed, Power says she'll devour Himeno, only for Denji to ask her not to, as he wants the kiss. With the gang reaching the next floor, Hirokazu sees a familiar stain of blood, noting something is off. Checking the floor number, he realizes that they were on the 8th floor heading to the 9th floor, but have ended back on the 8th floor. Paranoid, Hirokazu heads down the stairs, only to appear heading down from the floor above. Asking Hirokazu if he was heading downstairs, the gang collectively shivers at what has transpired. Checking it out for herself, Himeno asks Kobani to hold up a double peace sign, as she herself heads downstairs. Upon turning a corner, Himeno ends up in the stairs above her previous position. Seeing Kobani beginning to break down, Himeno asks Aki if he knows what's happening, only for Aki to reply that this phenomenon must be the work of a devil. Further investigating, Aki asks for Kobani to stay put, as he enters one of the vacant rooms. Flicking on the lights, he notices that there are rooms positioned behind the windows of his current room. Passing through the window, and into this other room, Aki opens the corresponding door, only to appear behind Kobani, opposite the room he initially entered, in the hallway. Confirming his suspicions, Aki reveals that they are all trapped on the 8th floor. Settling in a room, Aki reviews the information they know about their current situation. It's most likely a devil's doing, trapping the gang on the 8th floor. Additionally, the elevators don't work, there is no way outside via rooms or windows, and going through the ceiling simply brings them back to the 8th floor as well. Cutting in, Denji blames Power for killing the fiend, and that it probably cursed them as a result. Attempting to blame Denji for her slaying the fiend, Aki reassures the two that, upon killing a devil or fiend, their power should be dispelled. With Himeno asking Aki if the gun devil flesh is drawn to anything, Aki reveals that the flesh has gone limp, leading Himeno to wonder how smart this current devil is, having used a fiend as bait. Hirokazu reasons that other devil just then Kobani begins to break down, knowing that their death is imminent. Attempting to cheer Kobani up, Hirokazu reminds her that she became a devil hunter to send her brother to college. But this doesn't help, as Kobani reveals that her parents made her work to send her talented older brother to college, and it was either devil hunting or naughty jobs, to earn money. With Konbeni shedding tears, Power can't help but laugh at Kobani's morphed face, leading Hirokazu to demand Power stop laughing. Stepping in to comfort Kobani, Himeno reminds her that devils love her Kobani's fear, and that her despairing won't do any good. Noticing Aki awfully quiet, Himeno asks what has caught his attention, leading him to reveal that all clocks in the room have been frozen. Which leads Aki to conclude that time has frozen on the 8th floor, therefore there will be no one coming to get them. Hearing this, Denji gladly accepts the news as a positive, being able to rest all day, but Hirokazu insults his stupidity, not realizing how dire their situation is. Ignoring his words, Denji easily falls asleep in the comfortable bed, shocking everyone at his nonchalant demeanor. With Himeno waking Denji up, Denji asks if they've found a way to escape, only for Himeno to state the following. Power and electricity are always on. The gang have managed to gather some food that has been left behind by others. Aki's been searching for the devil non-stop, refusing to take a break. Hirokazu had initially been helping Aki search, but eventually lost hope and has since locked himself in another room, having several panic attacks. Kobani began freaking out, attempting to quench her thirst with toilet water, leading Himeno to put her to rest. As for Power, she's been muttering weird things, like winning the with the three monitoring the unstable Hirokazu and the unconscious Kobani, Himeno whips out her final cigarette. Upset with Himeno's calmness, she gives Aki credit for doing the heavy lifting, giving her an opportunity to rest. She adds that life is better when there are others to lean on. Denji notices that Himeno's smokes brand is the same as Aki, leading Himeno to reveal that Aki picked up the habit from her. Flashing back, we see Himeno lighting a cig, beckoning Aki to join in. Refusing as a cigarette will shorten his life, Himeno guesses that Aki is attempting to kill the gun devil. Revealing that most devil hunters die young, Himeno once again adds that smoking doesn't really change this statistic. Aki responds, declaring that he'll not die, leading Himeno to wish for that fact. The next day, Aki observes a lady slap Himeno. Revealing that the lady was her previous partner's girlfriend, Himeno says that absorbing the frustration of the people that are associated with her fallen partners are part of her job. Hearing this, Aki runs off towards the direction of the lady that slapped Himeno, returning a couple seconds later. Having stuck gum on that lady, Aki states that her day will be a little worse, and that Himeno shouldn't be blamed for letting her partners die. Breaking out of joy, Himeno laughs at Aki's resolve. Treating him to dinner, Himeno states that devils don't fear humans who are strong, but fear the ones that are crazy. Since Aki is not normal, Himeno believes Aki will be with her for a while. Taking the statement as a compliment, Aki is once again beckoned to try smoking, only to give in, promising that this will be his first and last one. Back in the present, Aki barges in, demanding Himeno for any remaining smokes. Signaling that jealous that Aki shared an indirect kiss with Himeno, Aki asks for Denji to be quiet, revealing that the fiend they slayed has grown in size. Just then, the adjacent room has its door knocked down. With the gang checking on the noise, they are in disbelief at the creature's new form, knowing that the creature intended to trap everyone here, and then reveal its true form, as the Eternity Devil. Just then the Eternity Devil begins to speak, asking to form a contract with the humans. It asks to be fed Denji's body, dead or alive, and in exchange it'll let everyone else go. Wielding a knife, Kobani steps out of her room, demanding that Denji sacrifice himself for her sake. With Kobani lunging at Denji, Aki steps in, disarming her blade whilst Himeno knocks her out. Observing Kobani's desperation, the Eternity Devil laughs, pissing off Aki and Himeno. Testing his Fox Devil, Aki is unable to summon the fox to devour the Eternity Devil. Stepping up, Himeno makes use of her Ghost Devil, ripping a hole in the creature's flesh. Screaming in pain, the Eternity Devil begins to swell up, advancing towards that gang, whilst also revealing that the gang are currently in its stomach, and that they'll never be able to find its heart or harm it, as long as they're stuck on this 8th floor. Knowing that they've run out of options, Denji questions whether the Eternity Devil will keep its promise, but Himeno adds that contracts made with devils must be fulfilled, else the one who breaks it will die. Knowing this, both Hirokazu and Power agree to give the Eternity Devil Denji, but Aki notes how suspicious it is, as the Eternity Devil will most likely benefit from the contract. Choosing to wait, Aki mentions that if worst comes to worst, he'll have to use his sword, only for Himeno to firmly ask him not to. Back with Hirokazu, he's shocked to see all the food run out, catching Power finishing the last of it. Just then Kobani interrupts, claiming that Power was the one who cursed them, forcing Hirokazu to protect Power. Kobani begins to grow more agitated, believing that Hirokazu is a spy and that he is siding with the bad guys. Afraid of Kobani and her knife, we cut back to Aki, where the three hear Hirokazu's scream. With the surge in fear from the gang, the Eternity Devil makes its move, turning the entire floor on its head. The creature reveals its true body, compressed in the elevator. With no time left, Aki asks Himeno to use his blade, only for her to restrain him with her ghost hand, revealing that although Aki's blade will get them out of this situation, it'll cost him several years off his life. Seeing this, Hirokazu and Kobani lunge at Denji, ready to kill and offer him to the Eternity Devil. Taking the blow, Aki states that he will not let Denji die, as Denji shares the intention of killing the Gun Devil, and Aki will need help. Seeing Aki bleed out, Denji asks for Power to attempt to stop the bleeding with her blood manipulation. Seeing Aki bleed out, Himeno freaks out, leading the others to await Aki's next order. Done with this, Denji prepares to bring out his chainsaws. Upon leaping into the Eternity Devil's mouth, the creature attempts to devour Denji, only for Denji to unveil his chainsaws. Inside the creature, Denji wails his blades around, whilst the Eternity Devil discloses that it knew of the Chainsaw Devil's existence. Grabbing hold of Denji, the creature suspends him with several arms, twisting and pulling Denji's limbs apart. Breaking free, Denji reattaches his limbs, lunging to the closest piece of flesh, tearing at it repeatedly. Stating that Denji will never find its heart, the Eternity Devil continues to cry out in pain, still feeling the damage Denji is inflicting on it. Attempting to slow Denji movements, the Eternity Devil shoots several tentacles to slow hold Denji down, leading to Denji cutting free from their grasp, whilst sustaining several blows. Desperate Denji uses his jaws to bite into the creature. Whilst Denji is chipping away at the creature, Himeno, Hirokazu and Kobani are in shock of Denji's new form, leading Power to inform the gang that Denji's chainsaws will retract, upon losing more blood. Back with Denji, we see the creature gnaw at Denji from behind, taunting the Chainsaw Devil for being far weaker than expected. With each wound, Denji grows weaker, forcing Denji to take more attacks. Having lost too much blood, Denji notices one of his chainsaws retracted, as the creature continues to ridicule Denji. With no options, Denji bites a chunk of flesh from the Eternity Devil, drinking its blood. Able to restore his retracted chainsaw, Denji breaks free, digging his blade into the creature, whilst stating that its blood is disgusting but, seeing its pain, Denji can imagine the blood as sweet jam treat. Having told her that devil hunters with screw looses are the ones that survive, Kishibe states that all of Himeno's partners, Sahara, Kanochi, Subaru and Sasaki, were all normal people that feared devils, and as a result that fear fueled the creatures, leading to their deaths. Changing the topic, Kishibe asks how Aki is, just Himeno to say that he's not normal, wanting to kill the gun devil himself. Asking if Himeno herself is normal, she confirms she's normal, prompting Kishibe to warn her that she needs a little crazy in her to survive, offering her alcohol, with her refusing. Before heading off, Kishibe warns Himeno that Aki will be one of those who will not stop until their goals are accomplished. Hearing this, Himeno begins to break down, fearing another partner dying. Later that evening, Himeno has lunch with Aki, attempting to persuade Aki to join the private sector with her, moving away from devil hunting. In the private sector, she tells Aki that they'll have tons of free time, but Aki flat out refuses, but is still willing to spend time with Himeno. Asking for one of Aki's cigs, she knows that Aki will be able to eventually search for the gun devil, but will easily die. This is because he's too normal to be able to slay such a terrifying creature. Back in the present, Himeno stares at Denji continuously slashing at the creature, but he soon absorbs a fatal blow, dropping him. Making use of her ghost hand, Himeno pulls the cord to Denji's heart, reawakening him. Rejuvenated, Denji states that he can go on forever, as he can continuously slash away at the demon, and if he sustains damage, he'll simply drink the creature's blood, making it a battle of endurance for the both. Restraining his slaughter, 3 days elapsed, and Aki has finally woken up. Learning that Denji and the Eternity Fiend's battle is over, she heads into the same bed as Aki, asking to go for a drink after she wakes up. Back with Denji, we see the Eternity Devil begging to end its suffering. Having made his way to its heart, Denji puts it out of its misery. Stepping out of the hotel in ages, the gang embrace the setting sun. Having found a piece of the gun devil's flesh and completed their mission, Denji utters that he feels as light as ever, only to collapse into Himeno's arm. Knowing that Denji had been going for 3 days non-stop, Himeno carries Denji, whilst Power helps Aki, both to the hospital. Several days later, we see Aki much better, having slayed a devil with Himeno. Himeno suggests throwing a party, now that all the members of Aki's unit have assembled, adding that Hirokazu and Kobani, both are afraid of devils and sorry for attempting to kill Denji. Knowing that Himeno wanted to kill Denji as well, she mentions that the two should be unapologetic like her. Agreeing to the party, Aki includes one condition, and that is to have it within this week as he wants to invite Makima. Aki reveals that Makima intends to search for reinforcements outside of Tokyo. Focusing on Denji, Himeno wonders what Denji is, suspicious as to why the Eternity Devil knew of him, and how he can change to and from a devil. Additionally, Makima has been observing Denji, staying in Tokyo and not taking trips, like she normally would. Tired of the conversation, we cut to the celebration party. Kicking off with some beers, Aki mentions how it's been ages since he's drunk. With Power claiming the sashimi as her own, Denji digs into some dumplings, only for Kobani to arrive. With Kobani encouraged to order more items, a coworker wonders why Aki didn't bring his contracted devils, only for Aki to reply that his devils will be a little inconvenient. Skimming through the menu, Denji is unable to read, but realizes that hasn't received his kiss from Himeno. Demanding for the reward, Himeno mentions that she's still too shy, asking Denji to wait a little longer, and if he forgives the gang for attempting to kill him, she'll make sure it's a juicy one. Accepting the offer, Denji is told to introduce himself along with any contracts he's made, but Aki warns him to not reveal his contract, as this may falter him in the future. Heeding Aki's advice, Denji introduces himself as a 16-year-old who likes to sleep and eat. Next, Hirokazu introduces himself as 22 years old, contracted with the fox spirit and likes writing poems. Surprised that Hirokazu shares a fox contract, Denji is told that many people are contracted with the fox spirit, but the female fox only contracts with attractive men. Next, Kobani reveals he's 20 years old and loves eating. With some co-workers admiring Kobani's cuteness, she reveals that her sister was the one that gave her her clothes. Just then Himeno wonders where another devil hunter is, but everyone is saddened to hear that they were killed. Hearing this, Hirokazu and Kobani become stiff, learning that the deaths of devil hunters are very frequent, with most hunters expected to live several months. Drunk, Himeno butts in, claiming her Denji will not die, as he still has to claim his kiss. Apologizing for Himeno's drunken state, Denji learns that Himeno kisses everyone when drunk, so he should be careful. Hearing this, Denji begins to admire Himeno's luscious lips, only for Makima to question Denji and a kiss. With Makima continuing to press Denji on a kiss and Himeno sad that she won't be able to kiss Denji, Denji switches to topic, asking to be praised for obtaining several gun devil pieces. Congratulating Denji on his efforts, Aki asks Makima if she knows the reason for the surge in creatures enhanced by gun devil flesh, and why the Eternity Devil knew of Denji's chainsaws. Drinking her beer, she offers to answer Aki's question if he can outdrink her. With Himeno joining in on the challenge, we see Aki and Himeno tap out, whilst Makima is unfazed by the beer. Just then, Himeno pulls Denji in for a sloppy kiss. Knowing Makima is jealously watching Denji and Himeno make out, Denji feels a sensation in his mouth, realizing Himeno has thrown up in his mouth. Flashing back, Denji remembers spending time with Pochita, whilst they make fun of some rats nibbling at some puke, but in the present he notes the same thing has happened to him. With Hirokazu tending to Denji, hung over the toilet, the two share a moment, growing a little closer. Outside, everyone thanks Makima for taking care of the tab. Makima wonders where Denji has gone, only to learn that Himeno has taken him home. Waking up, Denji wonders where he is, whilst crying out for water. With Himeno riding Denji, she feeds him water with her mouth. Unsure how Denji ended up in her room, she gets jealous of how Denji and Aki are only after Makima. A couple minutes earlier, Himeno is seen carrying Denji into her apartment. Helping him with his shoes, she leaves him in her bed as she freshens up. Opening the fridge, we see Himeno head towards Denji, feeding him some water, only to tease him for liking Makima, laying next to him. Back where we were, Denji is hesitant to accept Himeno's offer, but mindlessly follows Himeno's orders to strip. With Himeno assisting Denji with removing his pants, Himeno stops disgusted after finding a lollipop in Denji's pocket. Flashing back, after Himeno had puked in Denji's mouth, Makima had taken Denji out and bought him some medicine to help with the incident. Having kissed someone whilst tasting their puke, Denji asks whether he'll be scarred from here on, afraid that every kiss will remind him of barf. Smiling, Makima places her lollipop into Denji's mouth, reassuring him that this incident will be easily forgotten, and that from here Denji will be able to experience all sorts of things for the first time, especially sharing his first indirect kiss with Makima. With Himeno fallen asleep, Denji stays strong until he can slay the gun devil, drifting off to sleep. Waking Denji up the next day, she makes him breakfast, as the two hang out on the balcony. Asking Denji if she did anything naughty last night, Denji states that his first time will be with Makima, which eases Himeno, as Denji is a minor and she can be locked up. Pausing for a bit, Himeno questions how Denji can nonchalantly eat, only for him to reply that free food is free food. Additionally, she asks Denji whether he loves Makima, even if she were a bad person, but state he'll love Makima no matter what. Curious, Denji questions Himeno's reason for loving Aki, and Himeno responds that she likes his looks. Satisfied, Denji accepts the proposal. The scene ends with Himeno asking Denji to bring Aki and Power over for breakfast occasionally, whilst Denji wonders if Makima will be willing to join them. Elsewhere we see Makima and several co-workers heading to Kyoto to recruit helpers, via a bullet train. Offering to stop in 30 minutes for lunch, Makima adds that the beers last night were very pleasant. Just then, as the train passes through a tunnel, all the passengers but Makima's gang fall over, acting suspicious. In several seconds, Makima and all her co-workers are shot, swiftly assassinated. We hear a voice communicate over the phone that their Team C has successfully completed their plan. Cutting to several employees working under Makima, we bounce between all of them, seeing what they are up to. As each one goes on with their day, several figures disguised, all pull guns on them, only to fire as we cut to Denji and gang. Enjoying ramen, the gang are questioned on their taste, as a lone man states the food here is terrible. Ignoring him, this mysterious man begins rambling on about his grandfather, and how they were part of the Yakuza, which meant that the jobs they took were criminal. Adding that they'll be able to afford things due to their necessary evil status, the man pulls out a picture of his grandfather, facing Denji. Realizing his grandfather was the old man who took advantage of him, the mysterious man reveals he knows Denji is after the gun devil. Agitated, the man pulls out a gun, landing a head shot on Denji. With Aki and Himeno reacting to the armed man, the man is able to shoot Himeno, firing several other shots at Aki, only to miss. Having seen an opening, Power sneaks up and uppercuts the man. Asking for Aki's help, Aki follows up, letting the smoke clear from the destroyed building. Aki scans the premises, seeing an unconscious Denji and a bleeding Himeno. Just then, the Fox Devil announces to Aki, the thing Aki has made her swallow is neither human or devil. Observing the Fox Devil, we see its face split open, having been cut open from the inside. Stepping out, we see the mysterious man unveil its katanas, similar to Denji's chainsaws, but instead there are katanas. Seeing this abomination, Aki orders Power to stop Himeno's bleeding as he deals with the katana man. As the katana man jumps onto Aki, Aki unsheathes his sword, revealed to be a nail. Appearing behind the katanaman and stabbing it with his nail, an ominous voice counts 3. Pulling his nail out, Aki awaits the katana man's attack. With the katana man facing Aki, it dashes towards him, swinging its katana arms around. Ducking and stepping away to avoid several of the katana man's slashes, Aki notices an opening, plunging his nail through the katana man's chest, which forces the ominous voice to count 2. Pulling out the nail, Aki notices the katana man clearly weakened, allowing him to stab the creature one more time, leading the voice to count 1. Kicking Aki away, and separating Aki from his nail, Aki calls out for a curse to finish the katana man. Appearing out of nowhere, a demonic skeleton-like creature grabs hold of the katana man, lifting him up and biting into him. With the katana man bleeding out, Aki checks on Power's progress, prompting Power to ask for a doctor to officially save Himeno. Noticing the mysterious man's gun, Aki realizes that normal civilians can't obtain guns, unless they are devil hunters. Additionally, he finds it odd that the gun devil would want Denji's heart. Just then Aki hears a girl's voice, over the katana man's dead body. Speaking to the katana man, she demands he not underestimate Aki, as it takes a fighting stance. Meeting the katana man head-on, Aki is shocked to see the katana man pass right through him, whilst slashing at his chest. Completely helpless, the girl asks for katana man to finish off Aki. Seeing the situation unfold, Himeno asks for Power to help Aki, but Power reveals that she was unable to follow the katana man's movements. Talking to her ghost devil, Himeno sees that the ghost devil is scared of the girl and the katana man's power as well. Seeing her weakened body, Himeno offers everything she has to the ghost devil, in order to save Aki. Revealing its hundreds of arms, the ghost devil pokes at the katana man, whilst Himeno reminisces on times when Aki was so fragile, crying whenever one of his partners would die. Cutting to Himeno, we see her arm disappear, as an offering to the ghost devil. Continuing to bombard the katanaman, it's able to restrict the katanaman's movements, whilst protecting Aki. With the katanaman asking for the girl's help, Aki looks over to Himeno's disappearing body, with her final words asking Aki to not die so that there is someone to remember her. Suddenly Aki sees the girl call upon a snake devil, which instantly devours the ghost devil whole, leaving only its head. Shocked at how helpless the ghost devil was, with Himeno disappearing, having offered herself to the no longer existent ghost devil, we notice that Power has fled from the scene. The battle was ensuing. The girl tells the Katana Man to not chase after her, as their priority is the Chainsaw Man's heart. As the two wait for the smoke to clear from their battle, a singular ghost hand makes its way to the unconscious Denji, pulling his cord. Hopping onto his 2 feet, Denji's chainsaws draw the attention of the girl and the Katanaman, prompting the girl to warn the Katana Man to not damage Denji's heart. Unsure of what had happened, whilst he was unconscious, Denji is able to figure that the two in front of him are his enemies, excited as no one is against him fighting bad guys. With the two taking fighting stances, Denji initiates the battle, jumping onto a stationary Katana Man. Noticing their battle, we see the girl, revealed to be Sawatari, having lost a fingernail. Talking over a walkie-talkie, she states her location and how they've begun to fight the Chainsaw Devil, all the while keeping an eye on Aki, who's in shock and bleeding out. Back with Denji, he takes the offensive, forcing the Katanaman to parry his chainsaws, leaving him wide open to kicks, sending the Katanaman into a nearby wall. Returning the favor, the Katanaman reveals his power, first charging at Denji, only to slash precisely at Denji. Sensing danger, Denji dodges his slashes, noticing each of the Katanaman's slashes leave large cuts on the walls and ground. Continuing to dodge each subsequent slash, Denji is ultimately brought to his knees as he attempts to analyze the Katanaman's movements. Suddenly 2 humans wielding guns are told to aim for Denji's arms or heart. Pissed that there are more people with the two evenly matched, Denji begins noticing slashes that weren't apparent before. Distracted, Denji takes a shot to the heart, only to immobilize the gunman with an elbow. Taking the gunman as a hostage, Denji demands the Katanaman stand down if he doesn't want Denji to mess up the gunman. With the Katanaman taking a few steps back, Denji is caught off guard as the Katanaman takes a fighting stance, whilst knelt down, dashing and passing through Denji. Unsure of what happened, Denji and the gunman's body is cut in half, preserving Denji's heart. With the Katanaman, morphing back to a human, he states that devil hunters are only human, and hence should all be dead by now. Cutting to several hunters' dead bodies, we see Makima suddenly rise from the dead, dealing with the attackers on the train. With some surviving hunters awaiting Makima's arrival, the two are shocked to see an unharmed Makima, believing her to have been assassinated. Following Makima, the 2 devil hunters, Kuros and Tendo, are instructed to find several convicts, a nearby temple, high in altitude, and a change of clothes. With the convicts arriving at a nearby temple, we see Makima change into new clothes, making preparations for something mysterious. Back with Sawatari and the Katana Man, their gang attempt to take Denji's corpse, only to have one of their men explode out of nowhere. Radioing to her men, Sawatari curses at Makima knowing that she's still alive. Back with Makima, we see her performing a ritual, as all the convicts and fellow devil hunters are blindfolded. This is because no one is authorized to see her devil contract. Makima instructs the convicts to say the names of the enemy, which causes the explosions of the enemy's bodies, but the cost of the convicts' lives. Allowing the fellow devil hunters to remove their blindfold, with Sawatari and Katana Man as the only survivors, they still have hope of fleeing with Denji's body. Suddenly they notice Kobani nearby, having survived as Hirakaza taking the shots meant for Kobani. Declaring Sawatari and Katana Man as her enemy, Kobani's demeanor changes, dashing towards the two. With Sawatari swiping at Kobani with her snake devil, Kobani nonchalantly evades the snake's strikes along with the Katanaman's bullets, running along its tail towards the two. Cutting off the Katana Man's firing hand, Kobani places a bullet into his back, continuing to evade bullets fired from Sawatari. Running to Denji, and using his body as a meat shield, Kobani is able to fire several shots of her own, without being in danger of any returning shots. Knowing that they are outmatched, Sawatari tosses the Katanaman into her van, whilst hopping in herself, starting the engine and driving off. The entire time, Kobani fires at the vehicle, scaring the two off. Kobani then has a moment with Denji's corpse, apologizing for attempting to murder him the day of the hotel. Additionally, it's revealed that Hirokazu had taken several shots to allow Kobani to live and kill their pursuer. Having lost Hirokazu, Kobani decides that she'll resign once they've met up with Himeno, which Kobani doesn't know, no longer exists. Back with Makima, we see her ask for information on damage, as a result of the attack, with the head of the Kyoto branch leader. Learning that out of the 4 groups, almost everyone had been assassinated, leaving mostly the non-humans. As a result, Kyoto's remaining forces are to be absorbed into Aki's group, and they are to obey Makima. Handing in his resignation, the head of the Kyoto group reasoned that it was his resignation or eventual death. Accepting the head's letter of resignation, Makima is with a final glance towards Kyoto's head, Makima smugly mentions that she is unable to reveal private information to non-hunters, only to walk off, with Kuros and Tendo to follow along. Heading towards Tokyo, Kuros and Tendo are reluctant to become devil hunters. With a television narrating the devil Aki and Denji's fight against the Katana Man, we see Aki awake in a hospital bed. Turning right, he sees Power and Denji nonchalantly snacking and reading a comic. As Denji reaches to pick up a delectable apple, Power scoffs at him for taking her food. Claiming that Power got scared and fled the scene, Power makes up that she was hungry, leading for Denji and Power to get into a fight. Cutting in, Aki asks the two if any members from their unit survived. Both stiffening up, Denji informs Aki that only Kobani and the now retired glasses guy are the only ones that have survived. With Aki's head drooped, Denji and Power leave Aki alone, as Makima wants to have a word with the two. Before leaving, Denji is shocked to see Aki's demeanor, leaving him with an apple, to hopefully cheer him up. Now alone, Aki sits in silence, only to reach for his nail blade, asking the cursed devil about his remaining lifespan. It responds 2 years. Reaching for a cig, Aki attempts to light it, but the sparks, from his lighter, remind him of the times he's spent with Himeno. Beginning to understand what has happened, Aki begins to break down, dropping his cig. Outside Aki's hospital room, Denji listens in, unable to enter and retrieve his manga that he left. Leaving Aki alone, Denji begins to wonder why he's unable to cry over Himeno's death. Denji then begins to wonder if he would cry if Power, Aki or Makima died, as Pachita's death was probably his lowest point, but even still, he didn't cry. Overthinking, Denji and Power head off, whilst Tendo and Kuros enter Aki's room. Catching Aki bawling his eyes out, the two introduce themselves as new. Due to the enemy targeting Denji, Makima wants Power and Denji to increase their strengths, so they'll have to be trained, but not by Makima. Leading the two to Kishibe, Kishibe racks Denji and Power's brains. Asking how they feel about their comrades dying, both reply that it's a bummer. Asking if the two want to seek revenge, the two reply it's too much work. Finally, which side the two are on, which the two reply, whichever side is gonna treat them best and the one that wins. Satisfied with Denji and Power's responses, Kishibe begins complimenting the two, only to weird the two out. Asking Makima to allow him to immediately begin training the two, Makima leaves, only for Kishibe to give Power and Denji a hug. Unable to break free from Kishibe's grasp, the two become stiff, falling to the ground. Revealed to have broken Power and Denji's neck, Kishibe states that Power and Denji both house human bodies, therefore their anatomy are exactly the same as humans. The only difference is that the two can regenerate when they drink blood. With the two now on their feet, they question their teacher on his reason for choking them. Kishibe replies that he's used to training humans but not devils. So a way for the two devils, Power and Denji, to get stronger would be to fight Kishibe, who's the best devil hunter in history. Additionally, Kishibe will continuously hunt the two, to simulate real-world scenarios, which ticks the two off. Accepting Kishibe's offer, the two ready their weapons, engaging Kishibe. Easily dodging Denji's strikes, Kishibe is bailed to puncture and knock out Denji. Now facing Power, he is easily able to subdue her with a single slice to the throat. Excited that Denji and Power are immortal, Kishibe reveals that he was always strong, having broken all his toys when he's a kid, and always wanted toys that. Knowing that his fox devil has left him, the two recommend Aki quit being a devil hunter, but are firmly denied, as Aki is still searching for the devils that killed his family and his mentor. With the two accepting Aki's mindset, Kuros reveals that they were warned by the higher-ups that Aki along with his units are unordinary. With the two leaving, Aki is visited by a mysterious girl. Back with Power and Denji, we see the two have been training with Kishibe all the way into the night. Leaving it at that, Kishibe informs the two that he'll stop by their place tomorrow to continue their training. With Denji beginning to act weird, Power is forced to beat some sense into him, which returns him to normal. Asking for the number of times they had died today, Power reveals that she had counted over 20 times, but this was when she was conscious, so possibly more. With the two heading home, they question if they should run away, but they both know that's not an option. Pissed off that Kishibe is beating both of them to a pulp, Denji and Power are motivated more than ever to defeat and kill Kishibe. The next morning, Kishibe visits Denji and Power's residence. Informing Denji that their target is here, Power shoots a blood spear through the peephole of their apartment. Easily evading the spear, Kishibe senses danger from above. With Power making use of some stored blood, she creates spears that poke at Kishibe from above. Breaking and evading the spears, Denji jumps from a higher floor, swinging at Kishibe from above. Disarming Denji, Kishibe is able to knock out Denji. Giving the two perks for their best attempt yet, Kishibe reveals Power's weakness is her using too much blood, which puts her out, and Denji's weakness is not being able to predict his enemy's next move. Stating that he'll skip Power and Denji's training for the rest of the day. Back with Aki, we see him venture into an underground holding center that houses captured devils, as Aki will need more strength to defeat future devils. With Kuros wondering who the girl was, Aki reveals her to be Himeno's younger sister, who had given him a letter. In the letter, it's revealed that Himeno had written the letter to her younger sister, but the younger sister thought it would be best for Aki to read its contents. The letter talked about Himeno informing their family about her making decent money from devil hunting, and that they shouldn't worry about sending money to Himeno, and instead they should prioritize their father's health. Additionally, Himeno reveals how much she cares about Aki, and how she has tried many times to get him to quit, in order to save his life. Cutting back to the present, Kuros and Tendo lead Aki to a holding cell, housing the future devil. Having contracted with only 2 other people, it's revealed that the others had given an eye and their sense of taste and smell, to gain a contract with the future devil. Stepping in, Aki alone approaches the devil. Upon entering the half-darkened room, the future devil steps out into the light. Revealing its tree-like form, it gleefully announces that, the future rules, repeating it in an attempt to get Aki to join in. Brushing off the future devil's happiness, Aki demands to form a contract with the future devil, saddening the devil. The devil asks to determine Aki's future first, before asking for something, in return for lending Aki its strength. Asking Aki to stick his head into the devil's gut, Aki is at first reluctant, but eventually gives in. With Aki's entire head planted inside the devil, it begins to dance in joy, whilst reading Aki's future. Once the reading is complete, the future devil demands to live in Aki's right eye, in exchange for his power. Shocked at such a great deal, Aki is suspicious, only to have the future devil reveal Aki's death will be a spectacular one. As the future devil attempts to explain Aki's death, Aki cuts it off, declaring that he doesn't care how he'll die, as all he cares about is gaining strength from the future devil. Elsewhere, we see Power and Denji completely worn out, having trained with Kishibe. Changing their training session back to once a week, Kishibe reminds the two to keep a cool head when fighting, along with keeping track of what's available during combat, as it may give them an advantage. Additionally, the type of training they'll be doing next will be real-world experience, as Kishibe and the whole of Aki's unit intend on raiding and capturing Sawatari and the Katana Man. Knowing that if the mission is a failure, Kishibe reveals to the two that he'll have to kill Power and Denji for real, but Denji reassures him that they've both grown stronger. That night, although he doesn't care about the people he trains, he utters that he's grown attached to the two, not wanting to see them die. Additionally, Kishibe calls out Makima, knowing she knew about the planned attack that killed several of Makima's underlings. Mentioning that she was also a victim, Kishibe ignores her words, as he doesn't care what Makima is hiding, but he only cares that she is fighting for humanity. Replying that she is, the scene ends with Kishibe calling out Makima for being a liar. The next day, we cut to Sawatari and the Katanaman, scheming. Knowing that there is nowhere really to hide, They all are anticipating an attack from the devil hunters, but have several weapons, including some zombies, that the Katanaman's granddad left behind. It's revealed that humans can become zombies if they're bitten by a pre-existing zombie. Elsewhere, Tendo and Kuros drive Aki to his next destination. Passing time, Kuros reveals that he and Tendo both became devil hunters as well, because of the gun devil, but never planned on taking it on. But looking at Aki, Kuros gets pissed off, knowing Aki is claiming to be the one who'll take it down, but he wasn't able to even kill the Katana Man. Replying to such a fact, Aki admits that he knows he's weak, but he really has no other option, as sitting around and doing nothing would be a waste. As Kuros and Tendo drop Aki off at the agency, Kuros adds that although he hates Aki, he is still cheering him on, which Aki appreciates. Following Makima, we see her talking to another leader of the Yakuza, whilst surrounded by his henchmen. Thanking him for his time, Makima learns that several members in the Yakuza wanting names of every person contracted with the gun devil. The boss agrees to help Makima, but when she demands to know the names of everyone related to the individuals that are contracted with the gun devil, the boss becomes reluctant. Lecturing Makima on the need for guns in the Yakuza, he mentions how the Soviets and China are in fear of what the Yakuza is capable of when it comes to devil hunting, hence they are considered necessary evil. Blowing a puff of smoke into Makima's face, she reaches for a bag, which the boss mistakes for a bribe. Makima reassures him that it's something greater, revealed to be the eyes of everyone related to the Yakuza. Shocked, Makima reveals that the eyes can be restored once she's given names. One of the henchmen attempts to attack Makima, but she's able to easily subdue him with a simple glare. Turning back to the frightened boss, she states that they've been using the excuse of a necessary evil to cover up their criminal acts. With the raid almost commencing on Sawatari and the Katanaman, we see Power and Denji excited, whilst Kobani is still anxious. Meeting up with Aki, the four are instructed to head in, searching for the enemy. In the meantime, Kishibe warns other policemen to be wary of not the enemies, but the fiends working for Makima. Engaging the undeads in the enemy's hideout, we're introduced to new agents. The Shark Fiend, able to permeate through solid objects and transform parts of his body into a shark. The Violence Fiend, someone with immense physical strength, hence is required to wear a poison-dispensing mask in order to weaken him. Spider Devil, who normally takes the form of a human, but can easily reveal its true form, able to scatter around and deal fatal strikes. Finally, the Angel Devil, who's quite peculiar, but is asking Aki for a handkerchief. The Angel Devil is surprised at Aki getting so close to him, but is reassured as his life-shortening effect won't work if there's an object between contact. Using his wings to protect Aki from oncoming bullets, Aki orders for Denji and Power to follow him elsewhere, in search of Sawatari and the Katana Man, whilst the fiends take care of these zombies. Splitting up, Aki searches the higher floors, walking down a blood-covered hallway. Easily exterminating a gunman, Aki is faced with several other men, only to observe each and every one of them, dropping dead in front of him, possibly something to do with Makima. Continuing his way up, Aki finds Sawatari, but before he's able to ask her to surrender, she gives another of her fingernails, in order to have her snake devil summon the ghost devil. With Sawatari now controlling the ghost devil, she forces it to fight Aki. Meeting the ghost devil's arms head-on, Aki is able to fend off the creature's several strikes, severing each of its hands. With the future devil giving Aki foresight into the future, Aki is eventually overwhelmed with the tens of arms reaching towards him. Completely helpless, Sawatari demands the ghost devil choke him, which Aki is powerless to fight against. With the ghost devil's palms firmly gripped around Aki, he remembers a memory with Himeno. With Himeno giving Aki a cig to smoke, Aki refuses, as he's underage. Embarrassed, for not realizing Aki is a minor, Himeno takes the cig back, promising to give it back to him, once he's older. Back in the present, Aki is on the ground, with the ghost devil no longer engaging Aki. With an outstretched hand, the ghost devil gives Aki a cig, written on it is, "Easy Revenge." Remembering that the ghost devil is unable to see, and hunts using others' fears, Aki calmly scales the creature. Bidding his farewell to it, he tells Himeno that he'll soon join her, bringing his blade through the ghost devil, decapitating it. With nothing else in his way, Aki turns to the shocked Sawatari. Attempting to conjure her snake devil, Sawatari stands down, realizing that Kobani has snuck up behind her. Demanding Kobani not kill Sawatari, Aki asks Kobani for her reason for staying a devil hunter, only for her to reply that there will be higher pay for devil hunters in the future. Cutting to Denji and Power, we see the two take the elevator to a different floor. Passing the time, Power nibbles at some zombie flesh, which disgusts Denji. Demanding Denji not shame her for her meat of choice, the two arrive on a floor filled with zombies. Not having drawn the horde's attention yet, Denji reasons it would be best to leave as quietly as possible. Suddenly, Power raises her voice taunting the mindless creatures. Asking Denji to join in, she manifests her blood weapons, dashing into the horde. Brandishing her blades, she easily dispatches several zombies, leaping onto the biggest one, as she attempts to show off to Denji. Having found the Katanaman, Denji threatens to transform, but is ushered to calm down, as the Katanaman and some of his gunmen only want to chat. Informing Denji that these gunmen had their relatives' lives slaughtered by Denji, Denji replies that he only killed the Katanaman's granddad's life and the gunman's relatives' lives, because they had become zombies. Refusing to believe such a thing, the Katanaman questions whether Denji feels any sorrow for his actions, which Denji replies he doesn't. Revealing that Sawatari had replaced his heart with the Katana Devil, the Katanaman reveals he too doesn't feel emotions, just like Denji. Attempting to get Denji to surrender himself, Denji comedically refuses, which prompts the Katanaman to engage him. Smashing the building wall, Denji is able to anticipate and block the Katanaman's strike, which surprises him. Taunting the Katanaman, Denji is kicked on top of a building, forced to dodge the incoming Katanaman from stomping him. Trading blows, Denji is forced to defend the Katanaman's advances, hoping for another building. Almost falling off a building, Denji is kicked through a billboard and onto a moving train, which the Katanaman hops on as well. Praising Denji's growth, Katanaman questions Denji's reason for fighting, which Denji mentions that his life here is far better than in the slumps, even though he's forced to live with a nag and a brat. Additionally, he wants Makima to praise him. Stating that Denji has no chance against him, Denji charges the Katanaman, attempting to prove him wrong. Slashing and maneuvering over the Katanaman, Denji is still at a disadvantage, as the enemy's strikes are still too powerful. Kicking Denji back, Denji loses sight of the Katanaman, who is above him. Breaking into the train, passengers evacuate, seeing the two clash. Throwing Denji into an adjacent carriage, Denji notices a civilian. Declaring the battle is over, the Katanaman gives Denji a chance to apologize to his granddad. Still willing to fight, Denji charges at the Katana Man, who insults Denji for being unable to know when to call it quits. With Denji's forehead blade shattered, we see the Katanaman defeated by Denji, who has conjured a chainsaw on his leg. Waking up, the Katana Man is tied up, having regenerated like Denji. Knowing that the Katanaman was involved in Himeno's death, Denji invites Aki to torture him, with whoever can make the Katana Man scream louder from nutshots wins. Questioning whether he should participate, Aki is reminded of Himeno, upon pulling out a cig, which motivates him to accept Denji's competition. With the raid coming to an end, we see Denji and Aki having their way with the Katana Man. Elsewhere, Makima is reporting the outcome of the raid to the higher-ups. With Sawatari committing suicide, due to her contract with the Gun Devil, the hunters have been able to acquire huge amounts of Gun Devil flesh, which has begun to move towards the Gun Devil himself. Back with Denji, Power and Aki, we see their lives have essentially returned back to normal, spending time together, shopping, bathing and having dinner. As Denji and Power knock out first, Aki heads to the balcony smoking a cig Himeno had gifted him, as a final goodbye. The season ends with Denji revealing a recurring dream of his younger self searching for Pochita. Hearing Pochita's voice behind a steel door, Pochita warns Denji to not open it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.